Heritage on the African continent is intrinsically linked to tourism. Today, we see that most African countries are getting additional resources from tourism. Tourism is growing faster than GDP growth in many countries, averaging about 8%. Of course, when we talk about tourism, we also talk about heritage because people travel to see countries' history. Increasingly, heritage management has taken an important role in many of African economies. We see huge increases in tourism in countries like Morocco, Ethiopia, Benin, South Africa, of course, Cameroon, Botswana, and many others. The question is, how does Africa organize itself to manage its heritage assets, to ensure that they are protected, to ensure that people know about it? In addition, with COVID-19, we have also seen a huge rise in intra-African tourism. As a matter of fact, intra-African tourism in East Africa and in West Africa is much higher than tourism from outside of those regions. So again, clearly people are looking to understand better their heritage. In Ghana, for example, there's a lot more tourism towards the ancient slave trail. We see that the GDP per capita per person in Ghana, for example, is $2,000, and 1.7% of the economy is employed in the tourism sector. In Benin, 1.6% of the economy is employed in the tourism sector. In Senegal, that number goes up to 2.9, and in Morocco is all the way up to 5.4. So clearly, there is a huge gap between what Africa is getting from its tourism and what Africa could get. In countries like Greece that have perfected the tourism sector, GDP in the tourism sector and employment in the tourism sector is over 10%. So if you compare the 1.7% in Ghana, 1.6% in Benin, 2.9% in Senegal, and 5.4% employment in the tourism sector to 10% in Greece, we see that Africa still has a huge road to travel. The good news is that, as I said in the beginning, there is more interest in Africa's heritage by Africans, first of all, but by the rest of the world. The vision, therefore, for the African continent is to see whether we can reach 10% growth of our GDP in the tourism sector, or if the tourism sector could contribute to 10% of our GDP. This is the vision that we are hoping that many countries that have already laid out a tourism strategy and heritage management strategy can embark on. What do they need to do this? Of course, we need a lot of capacity building. We need to be able to differentiate products. Gorée Island, of course, is very different from a tourism site in Alfred Seka in Cameroon or in Ghana. And so we do need to ensure that there is enough knowledge about what is different about each of the sites in Benin, of course, in Ethiopia, in Kenya, to ensure that as tourists come, they don't get the same conversations or the same offer in all of these destinations. We're also trying, of course, to look at intra-Africa tourism. Yes, we all know that you could do nature tourism between Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, and all the way down to Namibia. What we're trying to do is do the same thing on a heritage perspective, from a heritage perspective, across multiple countries. This is also what the African Continental Free Trade Area is about. It's all of this intra-Africa trade and tourism, of course, is an export. So we would like to do that in a much more comprehensive way, maybe by sub-region or maybe by theme. Economic development must go through services. Today, Africa's GDP is made up of 51% of the service sector. In many countries, it is also the tourism sector that is growing. The tourism sector, of course, creates a lot more jobs for women. 60% of the jobs in the tourism sector in Europe, for example, are done by women. And so we believe that this is another venue for local arts and crafts, for design, for nature conservation that happens around the tourism sector. So again, this is not just an industry that takes care of our history and our heritage, but it also ensures that women participate in the benefits of it. The Economic Commission for Africa is working, of course, with the African Union, with the Heritage Management Organization, to pilot a couple of initiatives in some countries to see how we can take this concept further, build it, strengthen it, and enhance the benefit of tourism on the continent. As of now, we're planning to pilot in Benin, Ethiopia, and Gambia, but also continuing to Senegal, Ghana, and Botswana, with a view to bringing heritage management capacity across the continent. We can only get more revenue out of this if we actually invest in it upfront, and that's what we're hoping that we will be able to do. The Economic Commission for Africa is therefore hoping that the European Union, as we meet in this EU-Africa summit, can also look at heritage management as a way of providing jobs for our youth, as a way of ensuring that Africa grows collectively, but grows based on its own heritage, as Europe, we've seen many countries in Europe, of course, do, creating a lot of revenue and resources from their heritage management sites. We note that the conversations in Europe this week do not have a lot of a heritage management or a lot of a tourism component to them. Of course, the Global Gateway is looking at ICT and ICT development and some infrastructure, but there is a different and very specific kind of infrastructure that we need for heritage management. Some of it is capacity building, some of it is refurbishing our cultural sites, as we're doing in some countries like Benin, Ethiopia, and Kenya, but a lot more is needed, and we hope that the European Union can spare some time to look at this and fund heritage management as part of Africa's recovery strategy in a sustainable way. Thank you.